What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 4. Picking up from where we left off, now that we have taken out your boss, we are going to be moving into your next area. So the next area is Vanini Works. Now, there is a relatively small transitional zone leading there. However, this is actually an area I really enjoyed my first playthrough. It's actually probably my favorite early game area in the game. It's got a lot of interconnectivity, minor exploration and secrets, and just a lot of really cool stuff going on. Not to mention, we get some of the first weapons that truly stand out. So, a lot of good stuff to come.
Here it
So, first thing
is.
we're going to be doing is heading
Vanini
on out.
Works.
Try to sneak in that backstab. Like I said, it's inconsistent a lot of the times, but often not, it does go off. So, there's going to be multiple layers here. There's multiple ways you could do this area. We're going to do it in the way that I think is the easiest to follow, and a way that is going to allow us to deal with the more pain in the ass enemies, without getting just backed into a corner. So over here on the right's a quest line. Make sure you guys do pick that up. And Jiminy's pretty much just giving you a lot of story details about Vanini. This is Vanini Works. This is where we're going. Obviously, the owner of this establishment, he's like the playboy in town, right? He's got a lot of money, he builds a lot of stuff. So he's giving you a little bit of backstory about him. So he's a friend that, we're going to go save, essentially. Either way, once you have fully cleared the top portion, we're going to go down here to take out a few guys. But we're not going to progress this way, because there's going to be a few other enemies you're not going to get to, and they could potentially start a lot of shit for you. So I like to just go down here so we can just thin the herd a little bit, make things easier. Alright, so now once you have that, we're going to go back up here. You have a new enemy type. Right now she's not shit, but she will actually be pretty formidable. She hits hard, she's small. It's hard to read her attacks. Later on, she'll have her own flavor of bullshit that she could do as far as special attacks. You're actually going to meet a few new enemy types in general. So right here, this will break. If you run and click L3, you can jump. Most of the time you end up missing. Sometimes, it lines up for you. So that way we can take him out. He's not going to be able to throw anything at us, first and foremost. Then we can drop here. There's usually a guy, or I know there's one on the end. I thought there was one patrolling too, but that's fine. At least we can just take him out. Then we'll go on back. Thank you. So like I said, we're really just trying to separate everybody. Lower the numbers a bit, because there's a big guy, but there's also other smaller enemies around that are throwing a bunch of bullshit. We just want a nice, fair fight. So as soon as we have all that cleared, I'll usually go for this guy. Then we'll get a one-on-one fight. And we're not worried about any items. Like, there's an item behind that guy, but we're not, until everyone's dead. That's how you get cornered. That's how you get caught. Thank you. Thank you. Alright, so now that he's down, over here on the left-hand side, just one quick item to grab. You get really sneaky. A lot of nooks and crannies, if you know what I mean. Alright, so there's actually two paths you can take. There's usually, a little girl. Smack the shit out of her. So you can either go this way, or you can do this little drop. I like this drop because usually we can kind of sneak behind two of the enemies here. Oh, he actually turned around. Usually he's facing the other way. Not a big deal. Don't worry about, we'll probably take enemies if we don't shit. I was about to say, don't worry about the enemies on the bridge, because this is honestly the main path. And we still have other things to do, but just so he's not spamming bullshit, we'll take him. Then we're going to sneak right behind him, or not. Try to at least. Alright, so that, pretty much completes that circle around. Like I said, that moves us forward, so we don't want to do that just yet. Instead, take a right. We're going to go ahead and get you guys your first riddle. So riddles give you special keys that let you into secret areas. We talked about this before, but this is actually the first time you're going to see it. Now, before we do that, break on through, grab your air gun. Now, you have one shot at this. If you mess up at all, you're not going to get the Trinity key that playthrough. Then you're going to miss the secret location. Sometimes it's really nice outfits, quartz. Sometimes there's rings, defensive parts. Like, there's a lot going on. So this one, the answer's human, just so you guys know it. But just so you guys can see the riddle, he talks all this bullshit. And then eventually, here you go. Here's the riddle.
Morning, it walks on feet numbering 4. At midday, just 2.
You're alive. So, obviously, the answer is a human. That's probably the oldest riddle in the fucking world. You know, it's reworded, right? That's the oldest riddle. Now, um, it is really worth taking in the dialogue there. He introduces himself as someone named Arlecchino. Now, this is going to come into play in a long time from now. There's crazy lore revolved around Arlecchino, and he's much more important than you might realize. So, this, we're not going to spoil anything, but I would say try to remember that name, right? It's going to come to play in a long time, in a long time. But it is really, really neat how it all ties together. Really neat, really neat. So, you are going to have multiple enemies here, coming for your fucking neck. Thank you. None of which are particularly tough, but I mean, when you get ganged up on, you get ganged up on at the end of the day. Alright, so with that, we have officially made it to our next location. Like I said, just a small transitional zone, then this will be your next location. As mentioned, really cool location, very rewarding. The first thing we're going to be doing once we reach this area, because going through the walkthrough, I told you guys, don't upgrade weapons yet, because you're going to end up upgrading something, then it's going to get replaced, and you won't have, the upgrades for a weapon you really like. Now, obviously, when this episode, I'm going to get you guys some new choices and stuff that we could actually upgrade. It's really, really nice weapons for a while. These are not weapons we're going to use all playthrough. Nowhere near. They're good starting weapons. So if we weren't using our things or saving our upgrades, we're not going to be in the best spot. So I say all this because the first thing we're going to do is we're not really going to get into the area yet. We're actually going to do a very small suicide run. It's not even that risky at all. But we're kind of just going to run past a few guys, pop a chest, and get you a very solid weapon that will help to carry you until we have other choices. It's really nice. It's going to be really nice for the walkthrough. Like I said, we did not recommend builds because it's deflect attack. Despite what weapon you use, it's always going to be the same thing. I will point out weapons to recommend, but not so much builds. Do what you want to do. Either way, we do want to make sure that we're all set up, and we're set up best we can. We got good damage, we got good survivability. That's what we're doing with the series. So, with that being said, this is typically how you would get started with the area. We're going to go over here to the left-hand side instead. Later, this will be a shortcut we get. However, right now, if we just run past these enemies, you take a sharp left, you see a ladder. Now, this water down here is toxic. We have to drain this water. Then it's going to allow us to fight this boss, the Puppet of the Future. Puppet of the Future is a pretty dangerous guy. Not so bad, but you don't want to fight him while you're in acid when you've never fought him before. Regardless, we're not going to fight him. We're going to ignore him and run straight for the chest. So I used to think that you had to kill him to pop this chest. That's not true. You can simply pop the chest, get the weapon. As soon as you grab it, we're going to go to our inventory. Pocket, watch out. Keep it simple, because it is. It's not really a suicide run. If you die, it doesn't really matter. We had 300 souls, not a big deal. However, it does get us something that's really going to help. So, with that being said, we're still going to want to get some upgrades. So, this is more about choices too, guys. So, if you guys have this, and I think almost everybody does, but just in case some players didn't, I didn't want an unfair advantage. This is going to be the best weapon you're going to have for a while, guys. It's really good. It's one of the best weapons of the game. Just because it's a free gift does not mean it's not. Fact of the matter is, it's a solid quality weapon, which there's not many. It's considered a boss weapon, takes special upgrades. It's very, very good weapon. So if you have it, I'd use it. Once again, I don't want an unfair advantage. But if you don't count that, you guys might be like, well, I want to do elemental effects. That would be a solid choice, right? Then your start weapons don't count. So you have this. That's a solid weapon. This is a solid weapon. That's a very solid weapon. And we'll give you a few more choices. But, if you're not really sure which one to go with, this is a really solid weapon. For one, we have much better reach for once, right? We've been really lacking on our reach. Really solid movesets with our swipes. But what this does is actually has like a built-in engine that will propel you. See that? So it doesn't do fire, but it uses a mechanism to just kind of shoot you forward. So you can close the distance and get charged every time. It's just a really nice weapon, decent scaling, decent base damage, and it is something that will carry you for a bit. So with that being said, from here we're going to go ahead and throw some upgrades in. Now that we have something that's actually worth upgrading. Like I said, if you'd like the electric coil stick, you could use that. Honestly, depending on your build, that could be considered a better weapon. I like the moveset. I like the bigger blade, the bigger swipes. It's just got a small coil head on it, and the reach just really isn't there. Now later on, you could get some pretty dope handles to make a really solid electric weapon out of that, but you know, be a bit. So, actually, before we even get into this, we're not gonna have enough. Do not touch for ergo. Can I say this enough? Do not touch it. But we are gonna pop some regular so we can pay for this. So obviously, she'll have other dialogue here too. So +2 we can get to. We'll be like one short of +3 if memory serves. Yeah. So we'll get that this episode, right? Now we're not gonna max this thing out, nor will you have the resources to do anything near that. But you can get pretty much any weapon you want to +3. As far as where we are at this point in the game. Once again, she always shows up. There's at the bottom of the screen. You see Sophia. She always shows up because that's where your levels are. All right. So with that, guys, we are officially ready to get started. So as always, interact with all your stuff. So now I'm gonna go get you guys a very, very good weapon for advance. It's really small. It's just a dagger. However, the blade's really good, and you can put it on other handles later on. Like I said, advance is a build where you need a lot of knowledge about the game to properly put one together. So I wouldn't recommend it for your first time playthrough. And the weapons are limited. However, there are some really nice things. Really nice things. So as soon as you drop down here, you're going to see new enemy types. Like I said, there's a bunch here. This is the first time you actually naturally run into these guys. A little bit tougher. They have this really flimsy wrist. So when they throw a hit, it's got like a super bad delay to it. Usually, depends on what they're hitting with. But they'll like throw their arm, and then their wrist will just like snap down. And you have to try to deflect it, throws you off. It's hard to actually describe. Either way, salamander dagger. So I actually used to put this blade on the handle we're using now, and it's really good. It didn't have reach, but builds up fire damage. Even though puppets are weak to electric, that's their true weakness. Fire does good. You build up burn, that's damage over time. It's awesome. A fire weapon can carry through the whole game. Because everybody has some weakness to it, right? So there's always a very specific elemental for every enemy type. But you still get a damage boost for using elemental on everybody. It's just more effective on some enemies more than others.
Like something's gonna jump out any second.
Well, it is, Jiminy. So as soon as you get here, get ready to deflect. He's gonna start throwing bullshit at you. Then we're gonna go after this stuff. Oh, that's a little bit off on my timing there. It's okay. So you're gonna notice that floor break. What we're going to do is we're going to heal, stick to the far left hand side, and go up. It's not just about getting that item. This is actually a top section that you're going to have trouble reaching if you don't go that way. I don't know if you could reach it any other way. This is always the way I did it. Thank you. So I love about her skills, every time I kill an enemy, I'm getting Legion back, that skill we picked up. So that does let you use that much more often, guys, much more often. Now from this point, you can go down wherever you see fit. Alright, we got all the items. There's going to be a bunch of guys. His timing's a little odd, too. And then the guys with the cog glue, I hate them. They don't have much range. You'd think it'd make life easier, but for me it makes it harder to read them. It's okay. Come on, stamina. Actually, have a tough fight ahead. We want to be careful here. Thank you. Alright, so this is going to be your next defensive part. And you notice we should be slightly heavy at this point. Slightly heavy is okay. I don't like it. But it's damn near impossible to not be in slightly heavy, even with a shit ton of capacity. So I do want to, let that be known. But it's okay. You just don't want to get in heavy. That's the big thing. I don't want to be in slightly heavy either, because we're starting stamina faster. But And if you notice, there is another route up here. Like I said, I wasn't sure. That's always the way I took. Alright, so as we move forward, we're going to have a pretty tough fight, guys. Pretty tough fight. It's not a boss, a very elite enemy. I would feel comfortable calling him a mini-boss. This guy's he's a big puppet, and he has these two huge shields in front of him. He's going to try to ram, so in each hand's like a half shield. He'll put them together, and he's fully blocked from the front, so you're not really doing much to him. So he can try to punch you with each shield, or he can ram at you. So hopefully you can just kind of run to the side and get behind him to attack, or you got to really line up your deflections. And like I said, very different. That's cool though, right? I always thought that was dope. But yeah, it's very challenging. So you could use electric blitz canisters. 1, 2. So just learn this time. But with that, usually you can get behind for like 1 or 2 hits. I think it's going to be best to just learn his timing. When we get better weapons, it's, life's going to be easier. 1, 2. That never changes. Now, if you see a slight gap in between each hand, oh, timer's a little bit off. That's no good. Alright, you dick. I told you, it's a rough fight, dude. Rough fight. Dickhead. There it is. There it is. That's what we're looking for. Stick with it, guys. Stick with it. Let's go and get our heal. Like I said, if you can work behind, yes, that's what that's what you want to do. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. Play defensive. If you ever see an enemy back up like that, that's usually a good window. Alright, dickhead. Thank you. Alright, so taking him out is extraordinarily rewarding. Legion Caliper is your upgrade for your Legion arm. Typically takes a few even to get your first upgrade, I'm sure. I have to look. I didn't write that down in my notes. Little things like that, like how many upgrade mats for each upgrade. This is stuff we just look at. But it might get you your first, but I do believe it's 2. So we'll have to look at that. Regardless, they're very limited. You're only going to get them for mini bosses or exploration. So it's really nice that we do have that one now. I mean, to get one Legion arm fully upgraded takes some time. It takes quite a while. If we find quest items to upgrade merchant shop, we'll be able to buy some and cut that time down. But like I said, you only get the resources to like fully upgrade 2 in a single playthrough, right? So with that, you're gonna have to remember that means we're probably not gonna fully upgrade a Legion arm for about halfway through. But that's fine. I mean, to have an in-game Legion arm halfway through the game, I'll take that. Alright, I'll take that any day. Now, we're almost 20 minutes in, so this is actually where I had us wrapping up. There's one small optional area, but this, we're not going to go any further into the main zone. With that being said, we're going to snatch up a level. Because it's here. Look at that, guys. Almost 2020. Then we can go ahead and get to that capacity. And that's the plan. Like I said, if we can get 20 health, 20 stamina. 20 stamina is like good for your whole playthrough. Like, that's done. But 20 capacity, 20 health, we'll bring damage up a little bit. But really we want to focus on all that stuff until it's done, until it's done. Also, getting into this area, it can help having a few things here. So we can boost our resistances with that. How much do we have? 7. Then we can cleanse with that, because this is just like where the puppet of future was, right? Where you're like in acid that's gonna build up on you and everything else. So we can boost our resistances, but we just here fighting all this. Some bigger enemies, A lot of smaller, super fucking annoying enemies. But our weapon helps. Like I said, we can close the distance for that charged heavy. It is a fucking godsend sometimes. It really is. As if for the early game, this is your boy. This weapon will carry you. Make no mistake about it. We'll probably at least get it up to +3, and we'll stop there. And we can keep bringing it up if you guys like it like that, because we'll be going with boss weapons once we get those unlocked. That's going to be our main. But still, it's nice having a regular weapon. Plus, you need to fully upgrade a regular weapon and a boss weapon for trophies. That'll help. That's what we're looking for. We need to try to get him down as soon as we can, or get them down as soon as we can, so we get that, that one-on-one fight. There we go. Yep. Not good. Make sure our resistances are still raised. And it's just a, small optional area. So we should have the resources to get through, even if we're using up our healing. And once you get past this, it's not so bad. It's just a couple little guys. His timing's off. God, he gets me that every fucking time, bro. We've been running through this guy the whole walkthrough so far. As soon as I get, in a swamp, he seems to be a different enemy. I don't know. It's like really giving us a hard time, and usually we just kind of run right through them. Let's raise our resistances too. Yes, we could always cleanse, but. There will be a butterfly we have to chase down up here too. So take it slow. It shouldn't have ran up like that. You want to take it slow. So we can try to clear the enemies out as we go. But just get ready to run. Right now. There it is. There's not always upgrades. Sometimes you drop crank arms so we can change our scaling of our handle. Sometimes it's upgrades. Sometimes, there's all types of stuff. Usually upgrades or handles for the most part. There's going to be a few of these guys kind of dropping out of the sewers, the pipes. We need a repair kit, repair tool. Then we are clear. A lot of smaller areas like this that might not seem so important. And, the fact of the matter is they are quite rewarding. They are quite rewarding. I think we got like 3 upgrade maps here, guys. We got a handful. We're only one short for our next upgrade too, so leading into the next episode right now before we close out, we'll be able to grab some levels, but we'll also be able to go ahead and upgrade our weapon even more. But the walkthroughs felt pretty smooth so far, guys. Like I said, it's a really difficult game. I don't believe it gets difficult, really, not for a while. It's your first playthrough, you're still learning, you're getting caught more than you should, and that will pick up once you learn just the combat, and it really clicks. But even if you are good at it later on, yeah, it's gonna pick up big time, but not for a while, in my opinion. Once we get to chapter 3, things start to pick up a bit for sure, because you're dealing with the petrified enemies. You have not faced them yet, so that just takes a little bit of getting used to. Then that's really it. You're just getting introduced to new enemies, more formidable enemies as you get deeper in the game. But like I said, for the most part, I don't believe personally that it gets super difficult until the back half. Let's see if that carries us. Now, the guy that's going to give us our boss weapons isn't that far away. So if you're like, you know what, I think I could do it. That's just a weapon. I want to pop these for souls. You guys could just farm for that 5,000. Wouldn't take long. You're going to you don't even understand how cool the weapons are unless you've been through the game. You're going to highly regret this, I assure you. I want to call that out. Because I've made this mistake, my first playthrough. I was like, you know what, I'm sure I'll miss out on a weapon by popping these, because it's usually mechanic in Souls games. You get the boss soul, you pop it, and you miss out later. I was like, it's not going to bother me. Then I saw which weapons they were, and I'm like, motherfucker, I was so upset about it, bro. I was so upset. Served me right, because like I said, you can just farm up them souls anytime you want. While we're here, because I was unsure, let's check our upgrades. So you don't need Vanini here to start upgrading your Legion. You can do it at the same table where we were able to craft some. Oh, we can't do it yet, can we? We just can switch? I thought we could upgrade. Okay, that's fine. Also, look at the scaling, depending on which build you're doing. Don't think, oh, advanced is, it's for all Legion arms. Yeah, kinda, but not really. Like the base one, that's quality. Yeah, this one, C motivity, is really good for strength builds, but much better for technique. It's the best for technique. Strength C, it's not bad. It's not uh, particularly good. C is kind of in the middle, but even for strength, you got to remember it's just a Legion arm. It's the way we use this one. It's just pulling enemies in. The damage it does, I don't care for. I'm pulling enemies towards me. That's why I'm using it. This is motivity and advance, which is really nice. But you should pay attention to this, and you might like certain arms, but some aren't gonna go with your build well. Some I didn't pick. I didn't even think Legion arms did damage like that. I just thought it was like a set amount of damage. I didn't realize it was scaling because it's not like a main weapon, but it does have scaling, and these things do matter. Either way, we did get our weapon to +3. So 168, yep. 175, 76, not bad. I don't think the scaling changes with upgrades. I think that's more about your handles. This was not here before, just interact. Just a little bit of backstory if you guys want to take that in. Then just make sure you're checking out everybody, even if it's not on the list.
You and your pet.
So you notice that's new dialogue. Yeah, just you're always running through, making sure everything is up to date. But honestly, to this point, we're more than good. If you ever doubt yourself, you simply go right here, and then you'll know. Am I missing any quests? Am I missing because the NPCs show up next to your location, right? So with that, go back to Workshop Union Culvert. And I believe we're already in Chapter 3. So, forgive me, the end of Chapter 3, the start of Chapter 4 is where we run into new enemy types. I forgot. I always consider this Chapter 2. I didn't actually write down which chapter's which. But I will say, this is the end of, to me, it's the end of the first act. Like if you were to look at a game, how you typically do. The first act that's introduced you to the story, that's where it really starts to kick off. Once you get to the point, the game starts to really open up, get more interesting. You're getting better items. That's what I consider like the first act, and that's chapter 4. And that's also when we get our NPC for our boss stuff, guys. So as you see, it's not far away. So make sure you're holding to those goals. But regardless, guys, we are going to wrap up here because there is a lot going on. Even to get everything done here next episode, we might be going over a little bit. To be honest, it might be a longer episode. Who knows? Could 45 to an hour because we are going to make sure we have this area wrapped up entirely, right? Because we're gonna have the main boss, we have quest stuff to do, but there's a lot of secrets and hidden areas, and all of this does need to be covered. So just a heads up. But either way, we are going to go ahead and wrap up here. As always, I do greatly appreciate you guys choosing my channel for the walkthrough. Hope it has been helpful. Hope you guys are enjoying the game, and we'll see y'all back here shortly.